We're back. Took a week off. And let me tell you, after taking a week off, some things in the channel have changed. Changing for the better, of course. My camera's crooked and it's going to bother me. How do I fix this thing? So I decided just to kind of, I'm not going to call it the elephant in the room, but before we get kind of deep into the show today, I didn't want to just talk about some recent wonderful things that have happened for the channel. I really need to oil this thing. I bet you guys can hear it squeaking, but I just need to fix that. So just to, like I said, before we get into the Bionicle talk, which I know, and if you're coming from Instagram, I did promise all Bionicle talk, but you know me, I gotta reference some of the recent success with a little short that I made last week. Was it last week or the week before? A week from Wednesday. My wife and I, we saw Deadpool over the previous weekend. We didn't see it opening weekend. I think we saw it. We saw it like Monday or Tuesday. So Tuesday last week we saw it. Wednesday night, I was like, all right, I got to edit some videos. I got to edit some the Bionicle video that I dropped to my channel last night. I got to get that done. And then it just kind of in my head popped up the idea to make a fun little Deadpool minifigure. If you've seen the movie, you know there's a couple of those that show up. And I thought, hey, I might as well, I could make a fun little short, make a proper edit, do something fun, and just see what happens. Sure enough, well, no, okay, taking it back, day one, I should say evening one, the short didn't do as well as I had hoped for. It had like 6,000 views or something at the end of Thursday, and I was like, okay, whatever. I guess it's just, I put a solid like 3 hours into the short. Is it chugging for you guys? Hopefully the computer can keep up. I hope it's not being too chunky. But then, needless to say, what happened is, of course, it just totally popped off. So, the subscriber count, of course, is way up compared to what it normally is. And just the engagement overall on the channel has been great. So, hey, super pumped. 5K is gradually approaching. And, we'll see what happens next. I want to keep making successful shorts like that. I like shorts just because it's not like a 20-hour editing process. It's a 2 to 3 hour editing process, which is a lot better for me and what I'm able to do. So, hey, super happy about that. Before, of course, All Out Brick, he's in the queue. He's ready to go. But before we bring him on, I did want to shout out to a couple of members hanging out in chat. Of course, Anger Canadian. I knew you were going to show up for the Bionicle stream. I expected nothing less. Nothing less. Always great to have you here. And then, of course, Dave Bricks saying, I know nothing of Bionicle. Well, you're going to learn a lot about Bionicle today. And I hope you enjoy your time here. Learning a thing or two. It's always a wonderful thing to learn. And I hope you're interested in learning about Bionicle today, because yeah, it's definitely going to happen. Of course, Mrs. CPA, whether against her will or not, she's in the chat hanging out with all of us. She's upstairs. I don't force her to be down here. But yeah, the manager's in the house. One of the two managers. Who else? Cooper, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. I got to share one more thing, and then we'll be ready. I got to share it. I got to share the stream to another channel, to another Discord server. Alrighty. He's been on the channel once before, well known for reviewing every single Bionicle set. I introduced him before. We didn't talk about Bionicle at all. This time, we're going to talk about Bionicle. Without further ado, how's it going, Christian? How are you doing today? How's your Bionicle day been treating you?
Oh, it's going great, man. How you doing? Love the new setup. Oh, I love the dual neon colors. This is all I'm seeing all this for the first time too. This
I
is
know, right?
sweet.
Dude, you show up once to my stream, and then I'm like, I gotta step things up a little bit.
Oh my god.
Gotta bring it up a notch with the transitions, with the
Mm-hmm.
neon. Hey, check this out. Actually, I was fixing this up right before.
Yeah.
Ooh, oh, the squares.
Okay, that's what you were talking about. Yeah, this is a lot. Yeah, that's sweet because you still have your background like fully visible. It's not like you just cut away the full background. I like that.
Yeah, so just making it look a little more profesh,
Yeah.
which is always nice. A little more clean cut. It took longer to get this up than I kind of expected, just because I don't, with the changing of, and I'm even kind of fixing stuff now because because the neon frames have the aura that kind of extends beyond them.
Yeah.
The framing of it is like super tall and kind of skinny. So editing it in the limited canvas size of OBS is annoying. But
Yeah.
we're here.
Yeah, the glows are the tricky part. I remember setting mine up and it was like the glow and getting it to play nice with the actual video. That was frustrating.
Yeah. So let's just get right into it, into Bionicle Day. This is my second Bionicle Day really in the community. First Bionicle Day actually doing anything. So kind of talk me through do you have a history with Bionicle Day? Have you done anything in the past with it? Whether it's videos or live streams, or kind of what's your history with the community and Bionicle Day that you've seen?
You know, history-wise, I really haven't done anything crazy for Bionicle Day specifically. Very aware of it. I think this year, I know obviously it's a Saturday. I know we were going back and forth about streaming. I've never done anything super specific. I probably threw on like Mask of Light one year, maybe. This is also my best friend's birthday, so that's always, so shout out to him. But there's always something going on with that as well. So that'll typically interweave itself. But no, nothing crazy. This is the first time actually doing like an engagement. You know, I was kind of hoping that it would fall on a Monday for Matsunui Monday, but wasn't the case. So,
so it never, because I know it's what, like every 8 years or something, 7 or 8 years, it falls on changes the days. So it just never, in the 3 or 4 years you did Bionicle reviews, it just never fell on Monday. Oh,
yeah, I don't think so. No, I don't. I'd have to check. It's possible, but off the top of my head, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it would make sense. I mean, if it's every 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, because we just had a leap year this year, so I mean, unless it was in 2020, which it wasn't, 2020 might have been the last time. So now, this is the first.
That's crazy. Well, that's super exciting. I'm glad that I was able to be here for your first kind of engagement on any channel with Bionicle Day. So I do know that probably one of the biggest Bionicle Days was 2021, I think. And kind of digging back into the archives, the YouTube archives, I noticed, I think you're familiar with LJ Johnson. They've got the TTV channel, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
They had this huge panel with like all the OG guys who created and worked on Bionicle from Lego way back in the day, and they had this huge panel where they talked about everything and anything. I don't think I've watched the full panel to date because it was like, I don't know, 2 hours long, and people were, I think they were all there for the beginning, but then some people had to drop partway through. But to my knowledge, that might be the biggest kind of event
of like Bionicle Days history.
Yeah. So
yeah, I kept seeing flyers. Cool. I was down in Brickfest, or not Brickfest, Brick Fair, Virginia last weekend, and one of the Bionicle booths, their tables, had Bionicle Day flyers that were getting passed out. So that was pretty funny to see.
That's cool. That's cool to see. Speaking of Brick Fair, Virginia,
Hmm.
which you just got back from a week and a half ago, or 2 weeks ago, I guess. Or was it last
No,
week?
last week.
Last
Last week,
weekend.
yeah,
Man, time
yeah.
flies.
It's felt like a long time ago, but now literally last Saturday.
So how was that? How was that your first or second time at Brick Fair?
Second time at Brick
Second time.
Fair. I guess technically third. Like last year, there were actually two Brick Fair Virginias. I'm not really sure, or maybe I just like ended up at like the wrong one in like March or something like that. Um, but no, so technically like second or third time down there. The builds never disappoint. I mean, I was talking to Firebird Bricks Caleb down there.
Yeah.
I met him, and he was saying compared to Brick World Chicago, he was like the builds are better here, I think, but the space is not quite as nice as what Brick World Chicago. So
Yeah.
those are like the trade-offs. But man, the builds like completely blew my mind. There were 3 different long Bionicle areas set up, which more than I would have expected. I think last year there was 2 maybe,
Oh wow.
and all the builds and talking to the creators of those builds just absolutely stellar stuff. I'm genuinely blown away every time I see a Technic mock because I could never even come close to anything like that. So hearing their process and seeing their result and all of this just complete from scratch, just imagination, new Toa, new Rahi,
Yeah.
something just built in that universe, they're on another level. So it's always a blast to see it all in one area. It truly is just like overstimulating in a sense.
Yeah. No, and they had a couple of Bionicle builds, probably more than I expected, and as it went throughout the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
going back to Brick World Chicago, uh, I found more that I just didn't see before. I think I'd showed you some of them,
Yeah.
taking pictures of a handful, and yeah, even the ones that were there, it's just like crazy to see what they're even capable of building, and just
Right.
especially when you go. I think I've showed you, or you may have seen that anyways. This guy,
Mm-hmm.
he has his Instagram is something like small Technic creations, but it's ironic
Mm-hmm.
because all of his builds, his Bionicle builds, are like literally 3 feet tall. They're just absolutely massive, and just
I
like
just like
I don't.
just how like
Yeah,
I give the most applause to people who can build out of Technic. I mean, truly, like they're just to be able to work with those parts is on another level in my opinion than bricks. So
yeah, and even I'm trying to find his YouTube channel. He started posting regularly like a couple months ago.
mm-hmm.
He's been doing a lot of Bionicle. Mitch builds. I think we've talked about him in the past. He does. If you haven't seen any of his, you definitely should. It's absolutely wild. The different builds he has when he revamps stuff or just
Mm-hmm.
creates a completely new character or
Yeah,
model.
like he does like the mine versus Lego.
Yeah, yeah, and it's so crazy what they're able to accomplish and what they're able to build. And yeah, like you said, just couldn't imagine creating
Now,
anything like that.
I think what's awesome with a lot of those builds too is like when you see versions of like I saw like Terrakava down in Brick Fair, but they were like juggernaut versions of it. Like it was like, all right, if this were
Yeah,
perfected in
yeah,
today's building style, and those to me, like I absolutely love seeing those because I love the storyline from what we had way back when in Bionicle. So to see those in terms of like what
mm-hmm.
in my brain those were truly like as a
Yeah,
kid, it's just a big full circle moment.
yeah, exactly. And I definitely resonate with that. And it's cool to see new creations, people just creating brand new
Hmm.
characters and whatnot. But yeah, seeing the revamps of already existing characters is always just like, because like you said, these gladiatorial Toa beings,
Yeah.
and of course they're just limited to whether it's the motto being limited to obviously it's $6.99, $7.99. Like they're not
Hmm.
gonna they're not gonna put everything they have into it.
Yeah.
But then people being able to put everything they have into these builds, it turns into absolutely crazy stuff, which is always fun. And even mixing Technic and system is cool as well.
Hmm.
Being able to see that kind of work in tandem is really fun also.
No, and it's fitting. I mean, we had how many play sets? At least like 6 or 7, like official sets. that did
Yeah.
that same kind of crossover with Technic bricks and
Yeah.
with actual, I guess, actual Bionicle pieces. But
Yeah. Yes. So I'm gonna try and we'll see if my computer can handle it. I was planning on. Let me actually just get rid of the music tab because that's probably eating up a little bit of bandwidth. I wanted to go through YouTube and, well, first of all, I wanted to watch my own
Oh yeah,
video.
yeah. I
That
don't,
I
I
put
don't think
out.
I've seen the finished
The
version of this.
final, yeah.
I haven't seen the final
There are a
cut.
handful of people that I shared rough draft copies with just to get kind of some test. What do they call it? Audience testing.
Yeah, well,
Basically.
there is a word for it. Test screenings.
Test screen. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's it.
Okay. All right, struggling here a little bit. Let me go full screen. Can you see?
Yeah. Yeah, I see it.
All right, it's slowing a little bit.
Do you have the file like on your computer? Would that work?
I actually don't. I never put it on this laptop. Whoops, that's
Just
not
let
what I
that
want to
thing
do.
buffer.
Full screen window. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna just write it out. Chat, let me know if you can hear it. I'm gonna. Really? Did that not? Oh, because it's I gotta resize.
Yeah, I think I see just like a little bit. I have like your YouTube stream up on like a separate monitor here, and yeah, I see just like a little bit of that. How long did it take you to find all of the footage? Was that like your hard? Was that the hardest part?
See.
Like, did you have the
Yeah, that's a good
story in your head and
question.
you're like, all right, I gotta find.
So in my mind, I had the song picked out first. That's kind of what initiated this whole desire to make something like this. Was to just have like, oh, this hype thing with this trailer type music. So finding the footage was kind of the first step, and I don't know if I would call it hard, just because you're searching through YouTube, you're searching through all these places, so it's not like editing where you're like, oh, click this, click that, oh, mess that up, gotta fix that kind of stuff. So it wasn't too hard from that perspective. And thankfully, huge shout out to before I start the video, good friends. And right before I accidentally start it, I'll go to the description and show all the awesome creators that, and I, just to be full transparency, I didn't like explicitly ask every one of these people, but I feel like giving them proper credit in the description was enough. I was able to reach out to some of these people. Not all of them I was actually able to reach out to, but this first one was probably the most important, and the whole video would not have been possible. Lord Findogast 734. His channel has so many 4K HD remasters of the official Bionicle commercials. So the first minute or so is just all footage that he's remastered. And in the description of all his videos, he says, feel free to use this if you want to. So I figured that was awesome.
Sweet.
And a very Bionicle community thing to do.
Yeah, really. I mean,
it just basically captures the spirit of the whole community. So I thought that was awesome. And then, of course, all these other people who've just created amazing things. So, yeah, we'll kind of go through, do one watch, and then, yeah, if we want, we can do a little bit of a director's cut, I guess. That could be fun. Or director's commentary.
I was gonna say, isn't this the director's cut?
This is the director's cut, yes. All right, here we go. Gathered friends, listen again to our legend of the Bionicle.
Oh yeah.
Who's got chills? Who
Oh
has
yeah.
chills? Who's got chills? Let's try this. Whoa, that's messed up. Didn't have the chance to fix that before. Let's see. Oh, I can fix that. I was gonna pull it up on the side. Yeah, it was in the process of creating that. It was kind of like I was going
Mm-hmm.
several different directions just in how I. Whoops! I need to just mute that so it doesn't. Just so many different directions with where I wanted to start with it, where I wanted to finish, like the overall message that I wanted to share. But overall, super satisfied and happy with how it turned out. I know that since it's on my channel, and most of my viewers aren't Bionicle focused in the slightest, I'm not expecting it to do well. I don't think it's going to hit the algorithm by any means necessary, but thankfully,
Hey man, you never know.
Yeah, I know, and like
Look at your
fingers
last
crossed.
short.
Yeah, fingers crossed, but I'm definitely
Which we didn't say anything before. I mean, shout out. The last time I was on here was the 2,000 subscribers episode. You've more than doubled since then. So,
oh my goodness, I wish that was related to Bionicle. That would be like my dream come true. But I guess Deadpool's cool too, so I'll take that. So going into this, I know, like I said, I'd sent this to you. You had given me definitely some great points of like what to cut through, what to transitions to make, focusing. Let me see if there's one of my favorite spots was the part where the music cut almost perfectly with the clips that I had already existed. Which when that happens in editing, because they'll basically, like who mentioned it? Angry Canadian said your music choice was on point because it was like, the music had consistent drops every so often. So I love when the music coincides with the cuts.
oh yeah,
just kind of like cut with when
they
the
hit
beat
differently.
drops, and it just kind of gets all your senses involved.
Yeah, I feel like the beginning. First of all, I mean, the first time that I watched with the opening line, I did not think that was you.
I appreciate that.
I was sitting there, I was like, wait, I was like, what is this from? That's not from any of the movies. It's not. It took me a long time to figure it out.
That's what I was going for. I watched it well, first of all, I was like, all right, do I just try and get it straight from the movie because we're still in Lego created stuff, so it makes sense if it's coming straight from the movie. But then in the movies, whenever they say it, there's either sound effects like smashing or the rocks hitting, or there's music.
Part.
So
that's the tricky part. You would need to get technical, you would need a Blu-ray of one of the
Mm-hmm.
Bionicle
If they
movies
even have
to
Blu-ray,
be able to
do they?
solo just. I don't think the Mask of Light is on Blu-ray. I mean, because you would need to just solo essentially the voice actor's track, and to do that, I think you need a Blu-ray. But
Yeah.
yeah, the sound, the music in the background, like it ended up working out very, very, very well.
No, I appreciate that because yeah, I was kind of like, oh, is this cheesy? If you know, if someone doesn't know me, they're not gonna know it's me. But I felt like
Oh,
if
true.
someone
Yeah.
knew it was me, I just yeah. So I got enough input from people that they either like you didn't know it was me, which was the main goal, or they're like, yeah, no, it works. It works well with the
Yeah.
video. Um, because like whenever I modeled this after, well, for like I shared with you the,
Yeah.
um, what was it?
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, the trailer where it
Yeah.
had similar music, but it
Yeah.
had voiceover. So I was like, I want to marry these together somehow. And I know you have really, really good experience with making trailer yourself
Mm.
for the various Avengers and NFL and stuff like that, hype videos.
A lot of,
Um,
yeah. A lot of mimicking real trailers into different storylines. But
yeah.
I think I realized that watching it through this time, it actually kind of reminds me also, and this is my favorite top three favorite trailers of all time, was the Force Awakens trailer. When the music builds up very high,
Mm,
it reminds me of a point in the Force Awakens trailer when the Millennium Falcon bursts through, that shows like the Starkiller base blowing up, and then it cuts to the Millennium Falcon. It's just this grand symphony,
yeah.
and it just sends the music all the way through your body.
Yeah.
That's
No,
actually
that.
one of my favorite shots in Bionicle media, like period, that you have up right now.
Yeah, because so when and then speaking into the different shots that I chose, which YouTube is not cooperating with me, probably trying to do too much apparently. I was like, all right, I want to kind of tell a story with the Bionicle. So then I came to
Mm-hmm.
deciding, all right, am I gonna what shots am I gonna take? So that's what like in the beginning I just went through, downloaded every single um, Bionicle commercial I could find. Then I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I want to stay with the I wanted to mainly stay with the content that was like Bionicle pieces animated as opposed to the movie versions of characters
Mm-hmm.
was kind of my first thought.
Yeah.
Just because I like the look of the animated
Yeah.
but
It's almost
Technic
like it's
characters over the
the
movie versions.
yeah, what you stuck with, and because I was watching it through one of the times, and I was like, I wonder if like a cut scene from like Matsunui Online Game or something would fit, but I don't think it would, because the style it's very consistent throughout, and then when you cut to like the stop motion videos that I think like Mutroid
Yeah,
makes, they blend in seamlessly. Like all the
yeah,
style is consistent. There's no like jumps
jarring
between. I think
differences. Yeah,
I think that works out really well.
yeah, because and that kind of stemmed from where I wanted to start with it. I wasn't sure um if I wanted to highlight each Toa team, but then how do you do that? But then I was
Hmm.
already kind of sunk into the idea that I had the Mask of Life being kind of that first drop.
Yeah.
So then I was kind of starting. All right, well, I've already kind of concreted that I really love this transition from the six Toa
Hmm.
to the Mask of Life, and then everything else just kind of fell into place. So then I was like, all right, I'm going to the Ignition trilogy. Well, then in the timeline, the Ignition trilogy is already after the Toa Inika. So I was like, all right, okay, I'm not going to have the Toa Inika, which was fine. Partially because I don't have a huge personal attachment to the Inika.
I feel like the
So that made
biggest
it
thing with
easy.
them is you. I feel like the biggest part of the them is move along, and that obviously
Yeah.
wouldn't once
That
you cut the audio. So like,
yeah, that wasn't going to fly.
yeah.
And then one of my favorite transitions with the music was Matoro grabbing the mask and then transitioning that like he swipes by and then immediately Toa Ignika
Hmm.
grabs or goes down the tunnel, because then that kind of
Hmm.
transitioned from the first time we saw the Mask of Life to the last time in that storyline that we see the Mask of Life. So I felt like that kind of symmetry worked out well, especially with that being, and I can turn the music on for that point if it cooperates. Yeah, just that swipe with it, like starting the hard
Yeah.
tones of the
It
of the
also like
music.
the hard cut works with him actually moving faster in the second shot. Like the motion blends together, but then it's like hard music hit moving faster. It just
Yeah, it's building up the tension of like
yeah.
and if you don't know, you're like, oh, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Um, and then probably the hardest, not the hardest decision because it ended up being an
Mhm.
easy solution, but one of the things I spent the most time thinking about was how am I going to transition between Lego's media and the fan creations, because I want to make it clear like this is what Lego gave us way back when. Still
Mhm.
today, these are this is what the fans are giving us, and I opted to go with the whatever the principle is, like the easiest answer is usually the best one or the right one. I kind of went with that of like just let the work speak for itself,
Mhm.
with the bottom right of each thing having of each shot having the credit. I felt like it was going to be clear enough, and with the title like the best Lego community, I felt like it was going to be clear enough that people were going to know like, all right, okay, this is what this is about. So I hope when you kind of had your watch throughs that it was sort of clear to that respect.
Yeah. And I think that just the first one that you ended up cutting to, I think also was a important thing. Like if you were to cut to like this one of Mutroid's straight to the stop motion, I think that's more of a
Yeah.
kind of a drastic change than cutting to one of iconic stills or like Team Kanoe stuff that's
Yeah.
just very close to what we have with those
Mm-hmm.
commercials.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so then kind of there moving on out, it wasn't too I didn't I didn't spend too much time thinking of linearly, all right, here's the order I want to do things in. I kind of just at this point I was like putting stuff in where it worked, and stuff started to just kind of fall into place. Like the
Mm-hmm.
music here where it goes from Mutroid to Vrano's shots, the music just works so well. Like when he hits his axe and then the plume hits and then the lightning of what's his name? Valkyrie? Whatever that
Ooh, you're
toad
throwing me
is.
on the spot right here. I
Variki. I have it's in the where is it? Yeah, Variki. Toa
Variki.
Variki. Like the music just was like drop, 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 and it just worked so well. So when
Yeah.
those little things happened, it was like, yes, less work with the editing and better output because it just
That's always
works
the best.
so much
That's
better.
always the best. You mentioned it back with your short. Yeah, it wasn't 20 hours of editing. That's the faster the editing, the better.
Yeah. And then I knew, obviously, you can't have a thing like this without having one of the best, in my opinion, fan films, Death of a Hero by MSW 41.
Shout out to Matoro.
So good. And this was another instance where the music just worked out so well. Because when it went from a close up on Matoro's face to the scrambling Matoran back to him, that was just all their edits, and it just worked out so well with the music, which was awesome. Then just random cutting and zooming. YouTube not liking all of this. Yeah, there for the rest of it, kind of out. It's pretty self-explanatory. Like it all just was a matter of cutting and working
What a
together.
shot.
Actually, one more thing. When it went into the quest for Matanui shots, and it was kind of just like do shot shot. That was all their video. I didn't have to do much
Oh,
cutting.
really?
Yeah, no, this is all just them cut, their cut, their cut,
Wow.
their cut. Oh yeah, all this is their cut. And then when it was getting constant, that was all theirs. I think the only thing I had to do was speed ramp a couple of them. But other than that, I didn't have to do any cutting for that, which was amazing. I was very grateful that,
That's the dream.
especially when you're getting to the end, like I'd spent, I don't know, we'll just say like 10 hours on the first
Yeah.
2 minutes, and then maybe another like 5 on the last. It all kind of just fell
Yeah.
together. So at that point, I'm like, all right, let's just get this done. And then, of course, these amazing shots by iconic stills.
Oh my god, dude. His stuff, if you don't follow him on Instagram, like anyone watching, you're not gonna regret follow. He's a great follow. I'm
Yeah.
blown away. I also love how he does like the two shots that are God, what's the term for him where it's like not panoramic, but when you swipe from one photo to the next, it's just a continuation.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
What's
I
I don't
don't know what
know.
you'd call that, but yeah, like
Yeah.
the multi-panel views of things.
Yeah.
So it's just like super wide
Mm-hmm.
screen. So he actually dropped a little tidbit today, which if my processor will allow it, I think it'd be cool to watch. I think it is a new product, a new Bionicle art book by him. So let's check this out.
Our great city, forsaken by its beloved heroes, but left to defend its own peace. It thrives. Now, new threats emerge from the shadows. Must we protect ourselves once more? Who else could possibly be worthy?
Available now for free and for orders or hardback.
After all,
Instant.
can we trust heroes anymore?
Oof. Is there more? Post-credit scene. Ooh. That
Yeah.
was crazy.
Oh my god, dude, that was insane. Are you kidding me? Like,
So here's
the quality is just off the charts.
like a scene like this. How do you? I'm just thinking of everything. I'm thinking of everything that goes into a shot like that. Let's see
That
if I can go
one.
back to it.
So
Where it's like
yeah,
trickling down with the. Come on. Oh, it's a weird aspect ratio. Yeah, where it's like trickling down all this stuff.
Yeah.
Is that something that he would have had to make, or is there
Yeah,
some
so
kind of After Effects template?
I mean, whether or not it's a template or just like a quick plugin, I have no idea. But yeah, essentially, like when I've done shots like that in the past, just create the entire 2D visual and then you just put it in a perspective with a 3D camera, and the cameras in there
Okay.
are very powerful in terms of recreating like that depth of field with it.
Yeah. I
But
mean, even
yes,
creating something like this little Toa room, I imagine probably the easiest way would be to create it in Blender
yeah, probably Blender.
using a bunch
It's
of assets.
unless unless he's using like Autodesk Maya or something like that. But Blender's very easy to get to get parts as an OBJ. So
Yeah, true. Yeah.
once you get the texture in there, like that's the hardest part. Then you're just importing the 3D files from like stud.io or whatever. But yeah, I did not know. I guess it's been a while since he's posted an actual like animation, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
all of that is so smooth. Like all of the rigging that's required for that is it's a lot of time and effort, man.
So, and hardback art book
Yeah,
is about $40-ish.
done.
That's not bad at all.
Done.
Let me and it's like it's free to, I think it says it's free to
Yeah.
download, so you can at least look and see what you got. But I mean, like having hardback stuff like this, and I imagine it's
Yeah,
going
and
to
he
get a
mentioned
high
the
quality
3D.
print.
He mentioned 3D stuff in one of the quick clips.
Let's see. And we were only watching this on 480, so I'm gonna be rewatch this later on a proper resolution because that's just like amazing.
Is it 4K?
I think it was only 1080. Oh, it was 4K.
Yeah, all right, sweet.
I'll be watching this later on my very nice 4K TV. There you go. Available now. I don't remember anything about 3D, but I could have just missed it.
It was like in the middle.
Bionicle art book. Oops.
Maybe right in. Yeah.
50 new posters.
Nope. It's like right around here.
Let's see.
Right there. Go back a little bit. That I think that's it. So is he just showing his layer composition?
Yeah, I think he's showing the layer comps of.
Can you go back like 15 seconds? Because it was right before that 3D had gotten mentioned. 3D.
Oh,
so
yeah, he did say something about 3D assets.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see this. I don't know, and this could just be a page comp.
3D assets.
Or an explanation of the page. Like this is an example of one of the pages.
Yeah.
But
did you see that title card? That's the 50 new whatever.
50 new posters.
Yeah, that's the 50. I wonder what that 3D assets. All right.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. I wonder if he like just straight up made them for Blender. That would be crazy to get your hands on those. I don't know. Do you do much in Blender?
It's been a while. I had done I would use Autodesk Maya and I got decent at it. I was in the middle of recreating one of the Rogue One trailers in Lego in 3D animation and definitely got to complete some really crazy shots and did like some minifigure animation in there. And the biggest shot was the one where Baze Malbus shoots off a shot at one of the ACTs, hits it, and there's this explosion. And animating that with Lego pieces was awesome. I did a lot of the Lego Movie behind the scenes binging.
Yeah. And a huge shout out to Anger Canadian for it's about a $3.50 super chat. Saying, epic vid, love how you stitched everything together. I found you via your early Bionicle shorts. Yeah, I did have one early on that popped off. It got like 65,000 views, mainly because it was one of those Instagram trends where it was like, well, if I buy one, then I have to buy two. And if I buy two,
yeah,
like,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I had the Rockshi, and I just stacked a bunch. I just like put a bunch of Rockshi out, and it got a lot of views, which was awesome. And then you try to recreate it again with like the Toa Metru, and it just doesn't get any views. So it's, dude, I'm still learning how the shorts game works, and it's timing is everything. But
I'm on hiatus from the shorts game.
Yeah, I do plan on remixing this video for in shorts just to see. Hopefully, it does well. I will probably be messing my own algorithm up because right now my algorithm is probably going to push my shorts to people who really like the Deadpool ones. And I can only imagine those Deadpool people don't care too much about Bionicle. But hey, I'm not doing it for the views. I'm doing it for the love of the game.
It's for the community.
Or for the community. So, you win some, you lose some. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's... have you heard of the Mongai project?
Yes.
We can check out his upload that happened today. And I'm not too sure what this project actually is. If it's just like creating short art, a specific style of content. So I don't know per se if there's any like clear direction, because it's been and I can only imagine, like, I thought I was gonna be doing my little Bionicle comic thing, and like I thought I was gonna have at least one comic done by now. It takes so much time.
Dude, 2D. If you 2D is let's help animate the first episode.
Yeah,
I'm on their site right now.
Yeah, he says, official trailer for the pilot episode of the Mongai series, The Right to Call You Brother. So this is just the trailer of the first episode. Pilot will premiere soon. Be sure to subscribe if you're interested. Support the project. Patreon.
Yeah.
On the website.
Yeah, it's regarding Mongai Project. The series tells the story of the Toa Mongai as they protect the city of Metru Nui from the dreaded Dark Hunters and their minions, animated in a two-dimensional art style reminiscent of classic series such as Samurai Jack and Star Wars The Clone Wars. The heroic heroes and dastardly villains of Bionicle legend are brought to life once more. Boy, it's a little small text. The series will be available to stream on YouTube soon. And if you're a 2D animator, they are hiring.
Ooh. Exciting. All right, let's check out the trailer. I watched it earlier today. You can check it all out together.
Have a lot on your mind?
Is it obvious?
Have you ever fought the Dark Hunters?
Hopefully we won't have to.
Very 2003.
Apparently, this is just a routine call.
Nothing about a Taraga summoning 11 Toa sounds routine to me. I'm Nidiki, Toa of Air.
Also, Nidiki sounds like
Nikan,
Willem Dafoe to me.
Toa of Fire.
You know, he's got the goblin mask.
Thinking about fighting an army of Dark Hunters almost makes me wish for an enemy as manageable as a rookie fish.
That's where you're wrong, my friend. Me? I'd rather face 100 Dark Hunters than a hungry rookie any day.
Sounds like Archer.
They persist. They persist for one reason, Lacan. They know how and when to make their move.
You heard the Shadowed One. You know what's supposed to be down there. If I go down alone, I'll end up a light snack.
You know, I almost feel sorry for those hunters. It'll be an honor to fight beside you, Toa Nidiki.
And I beside you, Toa Lacan. Or may I call you brother?
Cool stuff. Maybe I'm being epically ignorant in me saying this, but I'm trying to think of like what other communities do this much extra stuff just for fun.
Nintendo communities try, but Nintendo very famously shuts down all of the fan projects. I don't know. I can't really think of one, especially a 20-year-old theme that hasn't really seen. I mean, yes, we had G2, but I mean, at its peak with most of us was like around mid-2000s. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy to think about all the hours that the community is putting into this kind of stuff. And yeah, like you said, I guess that's a good point that I didn't think about. It's like Lego, they're not going to go out of their way to shut down Bionicle stuff. That would be kind of silly for them, which is a double-edged sword because it means that they're not probably looking to make anything Bionicle anytime soon.
True.
But even so, like, it would never, even if they were, it wouldn't hurt them if people made all the fan media and all that stuff. It, like, there's no way it would hurt unless they had a full-on serial TV show. Like, if they had a full-on serial TV show, which they just don't anymore, even like Ninjago, do they just drop the whole season at once? I think
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So let's bring it back to Bionicle Day with, like, let's way back when you first remember getting into Bionicle as a kid. What's your earliest memory with Bionicle?
Earliest Bionicle memory? Man, it had to have been like 2002. I remember me and my older brother, right around Christmas time, we had these motorized Thomas the Tank engines that would go around the Christmas tree. They were decently large enough to fit a Mictoran on top of them. And we would stick some Mictoran on top. They would ride around the tree, come around the corner, and we would be sitting there with other Mictoran, and we would fling the discs and try to knock them off the passenger train as it would go around. So that is my distinct earliest memory of Bionicle. And I also remember driving my mom nuts going to McDonald's just to try to get all of the Mictoran. Didn't end up happening. I got Jala and Kongu like 10 times, but that's
wow.
Yeah. Now I've got them.
That's bad luck.
Now I've got
bad
them.
luck right there. Yeah. Do you have any of the ones still that you
they're
had when
just
you were a
off
kid?
screen here.
Or
yes.
Or did you? Okay,
I have
so
a
you
bin.
kept the
I have a
same
bin
ones.
of the OG parts, and yeah, that's a nostalgic
Nice.
one.
That's awesome. Yeah. So for me, my earliest memory was going over to a friend's house in 2000. Let's see. This would have been 2002 or 2003. And they had the Toa Mata. I know they had Liwa, and then I think he had Kopaka as well. I just remember seeing them. You know, I was always into Lego as a kid, so anytime one of our friends had Lego, you know, we'd always obviously play with it. But I specifically remember going to their house. They always had all the cool toys. Of course, they had Bionicle. So seeing that, I was like, "Whoa, what's this?" Oh, and they're like, you know, they say, "Oh, Bionicle," and like, "Oh, I need this." So it wasn't really, unfortunately, until the Metro, when I was able to get birthday money and buy a couple of the Metro, but then I was into it like fully the next cycle with the Hordika. So I think I got 5 of the 6 Hordika.
Nice.
Almost all of those. Then, of course, by that time, the following year, Lego Star Wars had... Oh, no, I did get 2 or 3 of the... why am I blanking on the ones with... They shot the Kanoka discs or Kanohi discs out of their mouths?
Vaki?
Vaki, yeah. I don't know why. I was thinking Vizorak. I was like, I know I did not get any Vizorak. Yeah, the Vaki. I had 2 or 3 of those growing up. So... Yeah, and then
do you have any like pictures or anything from way back when I was doing my like wrap up of Gen 1 video? I had found a video from Christmas 2005 or 2004 of me opening up Muwaka and Kane-Ra, a Vakama Hordika, and maybe like one other set, and I was able to grab that and throw that in. That's a crazy one.
I wish, but so with growing up in a family with 4 boys total and me being the third, unfortunately my well, and that's the other thing is I didn't really get Bionicle as a gift. I would always get it with the birthday money. So when it comes to like I guess that makes sense, like as a parent you're not gonna be like, oh, we just got back from the store, let me take a picture.
Yeah, right.
But if it was like, oh, if you got it as a present for your birthday, then that makes sense. So
right.
Yeah, unfortunately, I I always had to buy all of my Lego and Bionicle, so I wasn't able to have those kind of experience where like opening a present that was Bionicle or Lego. So they didn't take any video, which was unfortunate. 'Cause yeah, having that kind of stuff makes those videos that you made just so much better. Because when you bring it back to the nostalgic, being a kid, that's a whole different level. It's just so much better. So, let's see. But yeah, I don't know why. As a kid, I never bought any Titans except for Nuvok and Taraga Doom. I don't know why he was the only one that I bought.
Interesting, out of the 3 from that year.
Wait. No, I take it back. I did get, what's his name? Takanuva and his...
2003?
Ursai or whatever. So I did get that one. But other than that, yeah, I didn't get any Titans. Because I know because I was probably already out of it. Because if I would have seen Brutaka, 10 out of 10. All that gold, 100%.
Yeah, I got that one as a kid. Yep.
Brutaka.
Yep. I remember getting him. There's a couple distinct Bionicle memories I have. Like, I remember seeing the 2003 Matoran of Matsunui in the Lego Shop magazine. And I remember it was like early December. It was like the Christmas catalog. And I was like, they were like $3 each. And I was like, I had like saved up my allowance. I was like, I'm going to get them. And I remember my mom being like, nope, you can't. And then, cause they got a couple of them for me for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, I didn't know at the time. I mean, shoot, I was 5 years old. I was like, oh, Santa knows, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I it's kind of looking back, it's tough to put all the pieces together. Cause, Takanuva may have been my first purchase for Bionicle. So he was 30. Because when I was a kid, I was like, and now being a CPA, being an accountant, it makes sense. I was insanely strategic of my purchases, and specifically Lego purchases. Because like, all right, I can get two for $30. I can get 2 Toa, 1 Mator or 1 Taraga.
Yeah.
Or I can just get all Takanuva. So I was like always weighing like, oh, I can get this or that, or I can get this, or I can get it like a Star Wars. Just always like weighing these different options. Growing up as a kid, it's like, well, I can only choose one. Can't get all of it. Evidently, I chose Takanuva probably because of the gold mask. I'm sure that was probably the main reason for me. And then obviously he was heavily marketed with being on the face of like all that promotional material for that wave.
Yeah.
With him and Makuta.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do remember, I'm trying to remember if it was how I got the magazine, but I remember having the magazine. It was either the magazine or a Star Wars instruction set that had the Bionicle in the back leaflets.
Okay, like little ads.
And it had descriptions of each rock sheet. And I remember, I think it was the blue one, so it would have been like Gurok.
Yeah.
Had in his description, he said like he turned everything to rubble. So there's me as like a 8, 9, whatever year old asking my mom, what does rubble mean? So like even like it's weird thinking of like learning things from Bionicle is just a cool thing. Like
I mean one of the things.
Otherwise.
Yeah, I mean like literally, I mean if for those of us who got like super involved with the Bionicle alphabet, like you're learning a second language. Like
yeah, for real, dude. For real.
Like there were little seeds just like dropped in of like, oh, like didn't even realize
yeah. So kind of speaking of that, next to you mentioned that you have all of the Bionicle comics.
Oh yeah.
In a pile
got some books here.
Did those just
every
come
single
in,
one?
Or
no, I've had them.
You had them for a while?
No, so I had gotten them in 2021. Story behind it was I had gotten a concussion and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't look at any electronics, and I was like, you know what? I remember having all the Bionicle like chapter books, but I never had all the magazines, and I bulk ordered all the magazines, and while I
There
had
you
my
go.
concussion, I read Bionicle magazines, and now I just still got them.
That's a good way to go. And is that numbers? Because I know there were a couple different series. There
Yeah.
was 1 through 20 something of the first one, and then like the Ignition comics were a
25.
different run.
Yeah, 27 was the last one. That was like the Battle of Metru Nui or whatever.
Okay.
And then then it went straight into Ignition, and that was like its whole trilogy. Oh, here's a just found that one.
Oh yeah, Deathly
It's a
Hero.
historic one. Then it went into the Battle for Power, which was the 2009. And then there was a single one for the Bionicle Stars. It's kind of under here. So there was a famous battle scene right there. And then there was one for the Bionicle Stars that kind of just was more of a nostalgic thing than anything, but it showed like the arrival of Golden Tahu, the Golden Bionicle.
Oh yeah.
So
That's super cool. Yeah, just like the artwork and the
oh
so much
yeah,
of those comics, just like so amazing, and even the way the toys themselves, or the piece of the whether it's the Toa Metru, like it just lends itself so well to that.
oh yeah,
The comic
like
design anyway.
the Toa Metru cover, I mean, legendary.
Yeah, let's see if I can.
Sweet style.
If you hold it there for 2 more seconds, I can.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull it out. There was a little bit of a glare. Let's see.
Let me. Where's the Ninja Cam? There we go. That's as good as we got right now.
Just that style, I think it works perfectly. It's very similar to like the OG as well.
Oh yeah.
Just
And yeah, and how they were able to bridge a good gap between like toy parts versus just making comic parts and not making it 1-to-1. And even it, like if you look at it, sometimes they flip. Like Tahu's leg is supposed to be skinny to thick at the bottom, but sometimes
dude, his knee is freaking huge.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, the one on the right, his left leg is flipped, but you know it works. It works fine for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What
And
was
then
I
I've
saying?
also got, this was something that I actually had as a kid, still had it all this time, was
Oh shoot.
Bionicle Encyclopedia with all sorts of call outs to different all sorts of different terms here, history. There's fan models in here, references to like the Rocky Beasts book, and then I see, are these stickers?
They might be.
These are like
they
oh
have a
no,
lot
they're
of
not. It's an
they're
interesting
not?
chart.
Okay. Let's see.
Bunch of previous sets. They're definitely punchable out. I'm surprised that as a kid I never actually did that. This was circa 2005. All the
You're on
different
You're on the main screen.
I am? All right. All right, here's some encyclopedia. There's Tarakov. I absolutely love those things. There it is. There's our punch out. Let me hold it over my face so it focuses. But individual little sets. It looks like we got the Toa Nuva, Toa Mata, Toa Metru, the Toa Hordika, some Tahunga, or not Tahunga, some Taraga. The official guide to all things Bionicle.
Angry Canadian brought up a good point. The Makuta's Guide to the Universe and Matanui's Guide to Bara Magna are great lore books. I remember Makuta's Guide to the Universe was cool because it's from the perspective of Makuta. So as you read it, it's like his memoirs, essentially, which is super cool because he's like, these stinking Toa are always getting in my way. Here's what they're about. Here's what they do, and all that stuff. So it's just cool to read little tidbits of that from his perspective, which is fun. Going back to this point, so I was able to and I don't know if I've mentioned this on the channel yet, but I was able to talk with Greg Farshty a couple months ago at this point and ask him various questions about writing and about the story, about the history of Bionicle itself and his impact there. And one of the main things that he said was that he wrote, let's see, how did he phrase it? He wrote like above the age of the quote unquote target audience.
Yeah.
So if he wrote for, we'll say like 8-year-olds, as if he was writing for 10 or 11-year-olds to keep them like reaching up.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't like, thinking back to when I mentioned like, oh, why would like, oh, Gurok turns this
Rubble
thing of rocks into rubble. It's like rubble isn't a normal word that 8-year-old kids use, but as a kid that loves Bionicle and wants to understand everything you can about it, you go to the dictionary and you look up, or you ask your mom or dad, what does rubble mean? Oh, congratulations, you just learned a new word that you literally never would have learned in school, in anything else, because they're all teaching, 4th, 5th graders. They're not teaching junior hires or whatever. So, and I think that's one thing he mentioned where they failed with G2, because they were writing.
Yeah, they definitely brought it down. Yeah.
Which was something that he shared. And yeah, Kathleen and Anger Canadian, I was able to a couple months ago. I have the footage. I recorded the whole interview. I just haven't figured out what I want to do with it yet. Because it wasn't as linear as I wanted to be able to. I just was kind of pulling at random things. So I figured I could maybe split it up and just do some videos talking about it and showing random clips. I feel like that might work out in the future. But yeah, definitely hope to have those out sometime soon. I always say that, but it's tough to, when you don't have a clear vision, it's very hard to start on something. It's like, where do I begin?
Yeah, typically, that might tend to be a, you got the SpongeBob with just the.
Yes, exactly. But speaking of you and a clear vision, G2 coming soon. Monday. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize. I knew you said August. I just don't remember when in August.
August 12th, man. I have to actually finish filming it tomorrow. I have to film it, edit it tomorrow. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm curious what the reaction is going to be, because this is all since I've gotten my new camera. And so now we're going 4K, with better lighting, new studio backdrop. Like I'm very curious how all of that is going to go over. But man, they're sitting right next to me, the Masters. But yeah, it's going to be hype. I can't wait for that.
I'm very excited to see the first of many reviews. So it sounds like you decided to review the whole sets at once. Again,
yeah, all 6 at once. Yeah, all 6 at once generally. Same thing with like coming up on, I guess, like the beasts or the villains, the skull villains.
Yeah. For
2015, I gonna lump them together and then go through each one individually. Otherwise, I mean, 2 things are kind of at play there. It's gonna be very short videos, but also now that series is gonna extend far longer than I think what it kind of needs to. Like we would have 6 straight weeks of one master and then another master. I think if it wasn't on a weekly basis, but that's not changing. So
yeah. No, I'm very excited for that. And initially I was not at all about G2 when I first actually found out it was a thing last year, which is sad in and of itself.
Wow.
But since then, I'm looking at many G2 Bionicle above me. I even have some extra parts behind me that I can put together. But I'm looking forward to your thoughts on that. I won't have you share any now, because I want to be fresh going into that video.
All right.
But, yeah, super excited, because like I said, initially when I found out about G2, I was very antagonistic about it, because it wasn't G1, different system. Like, what is this?
Yeah, definitely a very different vibe from G1. I remember when it came out in 2015, I had gotten the initial waves and kind of fell off after that. So I guess we'll see
Mm-hmm.
if
See what the
not
ratings
being,
are.
because I think a part of the thing, and it sounds like both of us were like, you're wishing for more G1, but you're not getting that. So at the time, I'm like, well, this isn't Bionicle. Very similar to how you know Star Wars fans will be. This is Disney Star Wars is not my Star Wars. So very much was in that camp at the time. So
Yeah. And that's, as I mentioned you before, my mindset, once I got past the fact that it wasn't G1 anymore, like this is new.
Yeah.
This is a new system, new building, new design. Once you get past that, it was, you could just enjoy it for the design's sake, not necessarily.
And very similar with like the animated stories that they put out, like we talked about, very like dumbed down from the next level, or like not dumbed down, but they're not shooting for older.
Yeah.
I guess exactly how you put it, but
they're writing down.
They made them goofier. They're less heroic and a little bit more goofy. So once you get over that as well, it's like you can kind of just separate G1 and G2, and that's the way to do it, I think.
So did you watch the Netflix series, or which media have you for G2?
Yeah, all
watched?
of all of the shorts. They're like the 1 to 2 minute shorts. I watched all of those for 2015, 2016.
I thought that they also had like 2 seasons. It was 3 episodes of like 15 minutes each, I think.
Bionicle, the Journey to One. I did not.
Yeah,
I remember the
Journey
Netflix
to
show
One
being announced.
And Journey to One was kind of a similar thing where it was written down to the audience, but I will say the character animation is actually pretty solid. The character rigging, the movement was very fluid. And each Toa had their own character movement style. So while in and of itself it was very childlike, but it did have that kind of cool Borderlands slash cell shaded style of art.
Yeah,
which is really cool. It was just kind of a shame that the content was pretty childlike. I guess. Obviously, I'm not expecting a gritty, dark Bionicle.
we kind of got that with G1.
Yeah, I mean, some of the comics, man, they went.
Some of them are kind of dark.
Like if they truly adapted them into a movie, like Know the Robot, some of his artwork where it's kind of like Into the Spider-Verse style, that would be what I wouldn't give to have something like that. That would be insane. Hey, they might get the fan community might give that to us. I would not be surprised.
One day or another they will. Seeing how good some of the games that they're making are, it's only a matter of time.
I hope so. And even that so there's those 2 games, Quest for Matanui and Masks of Power.
Yeah.
I think they've both basically been indefinitely delayed just because stuff happens.
Yeah. They got great content to go and look at.
Yeah.
And I know Quest for Matanui, if you can find their playlist from the music they had made for it, it's like incredibly high quality versions of a 2001 soundtrack. So yeah, it's a nice little thing out of it.
Super solid. So looking forward, as we kind of wind down a little bit, looking forward to this next year, you've got a pretty full slate of Bionicle reviews that you're going to be going through.
Yeah.
Anything else Bionicle related that you're kind of looking forward to this coming year?
Whether or not I get to it next year or not, I don't think it'll happen next year, but there is a very large build that I would like to do with Bionicle one day, and maybe I'll talk about it next year, but definitely nice. I don't think I'll build it, but
super exciting. And then hopefully for me, if I can find some solid time and sort of get some more proof of concepts. I feel like I don't have a solid proof of concept yet for that Bionicle comic reimagining that I want to do. I still want to do that. Haven't forgotten about that. It's just I know it's going to be so much work, so much tedious.
Oh yeah.
Like we talked about the 2D animation. This is like this
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
I wouldn't even call this necessarily 2D animation, more just like moving pictures around. So what they're doing is way harder. But we'll see how far I can get into that. If I can get it to a point where it's like I feel like it's presentable, then I'll move forward with it with proof of concept. But until then, it's gonna stay behind the curtain probably until next year, because as a CPA, once I get to January, it's like
Oh,
can't,
yeah.
can't do
dude.
anything. So the clock is ticking.
Tax season.
4 months from now,
Hmm.
oof, clock is ticking.
Are you gonna do you think you're gonna pre-make content for that period?
I don't, probably not, just because it's hard to tell what the pipeline. A lot of my main content is like web reviews of sets that are revealed. So keeping with that style, it's pretty easy to make those videos. I just kind of bite the bullet on whatever day it comes out, make the video, work later or work more on the weekends if I backfilled too much time. But yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to backfill too much. Fortunately, though, I was able to do this past busy season. I was able to do I think every other week I did a podcast. So I always like to keep the podcast
it's kind of felt
going,
like that. Yeah.
at least being able to do that. So that's what I'm going to shoot for this coming year. But and I know you've been kind of on a little bit of a live stream break. Are those going to be able to come back at all, hopefully?
Yeah, next week probably.
Awesome.
If I was gonna put it together for today, I felt like it would have been a little bit rushed. So it's like, you know what? I know I was coming on here afterwards anyway, so
Yeah, live streams are, thankfully I'm still to the point where I can kind of free fall it a bit and don't have to do too much planning, especially with stuff like this. Like, oh, we're talking about Bionicle. Sweet, that's all I need.
yeah.
But I will say this. I have a stream coming up soon, potential stream coming up soon, that is going to be very awesome, new for the channel, never done something like this before. Semi-official. I'm not going to say official in what respect, but a semi-official live stream coming up in the future. Not Bionicle related at all, but that's all I can say. Unfortunately, I can't say more than that. So I know it was kind of an empty tease, but I've been holding on to this information, and I can't not say anything. So that's all I'm going to say.
You're up to something.
I'm up to something. I'm cooking in the background. Just let me cook. So super excited that hopefully that pans out as planned. I hope it will. Fingers crossed. But as we sign off on this Bionicle Day, any last thing you want to leave with our
Any last little message to the audience? Unity, duty, destiny.
That's what I was going to say. Remember the
Bionicle.
virtues. Remember the 3 virtues. Heck yeah. Alrighty. Thank you so much for the chat, for joining us on this CPA's first Bionicle Day stream. Glad to have you all here with us today. Thank you, Christian, for joining us.
Thanks for having me, man.
Stream today. And we'll see you all next year for... It'll still be on a Saturday, but it'll just be the Saturday closest to Bionicle Day is, I guess, how I'm going to do it.
August 9th.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that's how it's going to be. But we'll see you all next week for a potentially awesome stream. CPA-fol stream should still happen on a Saturday. Hope to see you all there. And hey, maybe a video is going to come out this week. We'll see. But thank you so much, everyone, for watching. See you all later.